Hi, this is Bree Talbot with the Utah Office for Victims of Crime. In this video, we're going to be discussing how to use the data proration tool that was created to assist subgrantees in prorating your data when reporting on your PMT. If you haven't already, please go back and watch the video on how to prorate reporting data that's on our YouTube page. You can find that link on our website or ask your grant analyst and they can send you the link. But that video is really the precursor to this video. It's going to help you figure out which option is best for your agency on prorating data because there are a couple different options. In this video, we're going to be going over the most common prorating versions that we expect to see, which would be based on your total agency budgets and based on individual employees. So if you haven't watched that video, please go back and do so. If you have watched it, then we can continue on and we'll get started. So you can see on this template, this spreadsheet, this is the tool that was created in order to help assist in prorating data because putting all of the math to all of your data can be a pain and can be complicated. So this is going to be an easy way for you to prorate your data and have all of your information stored in one spot so that then when you have a desk review or have some need to show it to us, you can easily just send this over. You'll see at the bottom here, there are different tabs. This is so that you can save the whole year in one sheet and just have it all in one place. You can also see up here in line 1, it will tell you which quarter it is along with the months of the quarter. This is going to look very similar to your PMT report and how you put in the information. All of the questions are the same. All of the information that you put in will be very similar. There is just one little section, one or two little sections in here that are a little bit different. So what I've done here is I've started by putting in my original data into this column B. So to save the time of inputting all these numbers, I pre-filled them, but this would be pulled from whatever reporting system you use. If you use Apricot or VS Tracking or a spreadsheet of some sort, whatever you use, this is where you're going to put it in, is in this column B. And you're only going to have access to a few different sections of this tool just to keep the formulas intact, because if you accidentally delete a formula or do something like that, then it can mess up your whole sheet, and we don't want to see that happen. We want to make this as easy as possible for y'all. So you'll start by inputting your data into this column. You'll go through your total victims, your demographics, down to your types of victimizations, and then special classes, and then all of your services. We'll go down in here, and these will all refer back to the PMT dictionary. They will all have the same definitions as that. So once you've put all of that in, then you're going to use this fancy little box over here for your proration. This is going to factor the proration percent for you and then apply it to your data. And these highlighted blue boxes are what you're going to be reporting in your PMT report. So like I had mentioned, there are a couple different options. The first option that we're going to talk about is based on your total agency amounts. So what you're going to do is either find the percent of your agency budget that is allocated to your VOCA grant. So if you have a total agency budget of, let's say, $500,000 a year and your VOCA grant is $50,000 a year, then your proration percent would be 10% because 50,000 makes up 10% of that 500,000. Hopefully my math is correct there. So what you can do is you can put in your total, instead of up here, you're going to think your total budget instead of total salary. So you'll put in your total budget, which we're going to say is 500,000 just for ease, and then you're going to put in your grant amount. If you would like us to correct this and send you a copy that clearly spells that out, we can definitely do that and just change these little boxes up here that say salary to whatever it is that's applicable to you. So then your grant amount is 50,000. And I did my math correctly in my head, so we have a proration percent of 10%, and you'll see that it's now changed to this column C information. There are a couple of boxes that have popped up red, and we'll discuss that here in just a minute. But we're going to come back to this proration percent because we have a couple different options there. So let's say that you were able to be a little bit more accurate, and you have one employee on your grant, and they are the only one that's contributing to this data in column B. You're going to want to think about who is contributing to your data. That's a very important point, because if you have 3 people contributing to your data that's going into this column B, but only one person on your grant, that's going to change what you put into this proration box over here. So let's say we have one person on our grant, and for this quarter, they made, we'll say $6,000. But the grant only reimbursed 2,000 of that. You'll put in their 6,000 in here and the 2,000 that was reimbursed, which gives you a proration percent of 33%, and then it's applied it to all that data. You're going to do the same thing for if you have multiple employees. You'll just combine their salary information. So you'll combine their total salary for the quarter and then their total billed salary for the quarter and input those in here. Now, what if you have a couple of employees who are contributing to your data and you don't have a way to easily pull out the other people's information? So say you had Jim, Pam, and Dwight, and Jim and Pam are not grant funded, but Dwight is. But all 3 of them put information into your system, and so all of their information is contributing to this column B. What you're going to do is you're going to combine Jim, Pam, and Dwight's salary here on F, on this F box. So we're going to say it was 24,000 for the quarter was the total salary for those 3, but we still only had Dwight on our grant. And then let's say we billed $5,000 for Dwight. Now it shows our proration percent is 21, and you might be thinking, okay, but that's a really small amount. But just a reminder, we are only wanting to report the amount of services and victims and information that is funded by VOCA. Your program may do tons of amazing things, and that's fabulous, but we're only reporting what was funded by VOCA. So if you have questions on that, get in contact with your analyst. Go back to the How to Prorate Reporting Data video, and it talks about it a little bit there, but that's the big thing to remember. So if you want this double checked, we're more than happy to do that. But just keep that in mind, that you want to look at who all is contributing to the data and then what is funded by VOCA, and that will give you your percent. So now that we've got our proration amount in there and it has put it into our data, it's figured out all of this, it's done the math for us, that's fabulous, right? We're going to look at these red boxes because in our PMT reporting, we have to pay attention to a couple of things. And that is that in the demographic section, these numbers all need to equal the same as our new individuals who receive services. So we're going to pay attention to this 33 number right here. And we're going to see down here that this 37, there's 37 people being reported in our race and ethnicity category right now. So if you put this into your PMT report and try and submit it on the OJP website, it's going to reject it. It's not going to let you submit it because it's saying you have more people in this category than you had new victims, and we're only reporting on new victims in our demographic sections, except for at the beginning of the year. So the reason for this is because there are rounding issues. We can't report half of a person. We only report full people. So because of that, we have some rounding issues. These are always going to round up. So if I put one person into this Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islander section, it's going to round up because we want to report whole people, and we want agencies to get credit, so to speak, for serving our underserved areas. So you'll see up here, Asian rounded up. Our Black or African American, that should have only been less than 0.5 if my math is correct, but it rounded up because we want to show that we are still serving those. We found in the first version of this that people weren't able to accurately report those categories because they lived in rural areas and would only have one victim who was Black or African American. And so we adjusted it to make it so that you get credit for all of that. So these will round up always, and you'll get these fancy little red boxes that tell you, hey, there's an issue here. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at where you can reduce to get down to this 33. And you're not going to do that in this tool. You're going to do that on your PMT report. So you'll want to use this little notes box over here to make any notes on adjustments that were made. So I can see on our race and ethnicity that I need to reduce this by 4 people. And if I have 5 people who weren't reported or 2 that weren't tracked, I can reduce them from there. I can also reduce them from our white or non-Latino Caucasian section. Or if I wanted to, I could take one from each of these that has over 1 person in it. Again, we always want to get credit for our serving our underserved populations. So we want to keep those in there to show that we're still doing that. So just for ease of this, I'm going to put a note in here that says race/ethnicity, whoops, reduced 4 from not reported due to rounding errors. And then I have that note in there, and if I get a desk review and they review this, they're going to see, hey, this is different, but they have the note for why it was changed. And then you can do the same thing for your gender identity, your age, and then we get down to the types of victimizations. Now, the types of victimizations is a little bit different. We're not going to get any red boxes down here because your types of victimizations can be higher than your total number of individuals who receive services. So we're looking at this 47. We need this number to be higher down here. So the only time you would get a red box is if that was less. And odds are that if this number is less than your total number of victims served, you maybe missed something and you need to look back at your data and double check that all of your information's in there. So like if we went to DV here and I maybe didn't put that in, then it's, oh, we need one more. Maybe I missed those 2. See, then it's going to turn red because this number is less than the total number of victims served for the quarter. So I'm just going to put those back in there. So if that one turns red, then go back and check your information. Then we're going to continue down here. You can see all of your information is prorated for you. Again, we have these rounding up. Then we come to the services. So for the services, the number of individuals who receive services in a category is also always going to round up. This is because we want to be able to show the services in a category. And if you had, say you had 2 people in this category who were receiving services, we still want to be able to report on those services. So it's always going to show that there was at least 1 person served if you served people in this category. So you'll be able to go down through and report on all of these numbers. They will all populate for you. But if you have any issues or any additional questions, please make sure to contact your grant analyst. You can then save this as your proration tool for the fiscal year and then submit it if requested. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out. Thanks.